Well, hey friends, it's me, Pastor Doug, with another word of encouragement for the day for today, Monday, April 18th. And this week, what we're going to do is we're going to look at some of the events that took place after the crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus. We're going to look at instances where Jesus appeared to his disciples, appeared to various groups of people, and we're going to see what their response and reaction was like. Today, I want to read from Luke chapter 24, verses 26 and 27. But before I read this, let me give you the quick backstory. So Jesus has been crucified. Joseph of Arimathea, a rich man, has taken Jesus' body down and laid it in his own sort of family tomb. And that's it. The rock was rolled in front and the people all went away. They rested on Saturday and observed the Sabbath. And then on Sunday, which they would have considered to be the first day of the week, a group of women got up very early in the morning and brought spices and embalming materials to come to the tomb in hopes of kind of preparing Jesus's body for his burial, since they hadn't really been able to do that on Friday night. So anyway, they get there and the stone is rolled away and there's two angels sitting there and the women are freaking out and the angels say, hey, he is not here. He is risen. And so they rush back to tell the other disciples. The disciples, scripture says, actually think that they're just saying nonsense. They're like, what are you talking about? He's not there. What do you mean he's not there? So Peter jumps up and runs to the tomb and finds that it's just like the women had described. And he doesn't know what to make of this. It's so interesting to me that the disciples, even though Jesus had explained to them over and over what was going to happen, they still could not fathom what actually took place. Well, here in Luke chapter 24, there's these two disciples, not two of the 12, but two of sort of the wider circle of disciples are walking from Jerusalem to a little village called Emmaus. And on the way, Jesus appears to them. He starts walking with them. Only for some reason, their perception of him is obscure. They don't recognize him as Jesus. And so Jesus begins to ask them, what's happened and what's going on? And they're like, what do you mean? You don't know what happened in Jerusalem? And they start telling him the story. And Jesus says something really interesting in response. This is Luke chapter 24, verses 26 and 27. And Jesus says this. He says, did not the Messiah have to suffer these things and then enter his glory? And then Luke describes, and beginning with Moses and all the prophets, Jesus began to explain to them what was said in all the scriptures concerning himself. Let me just stop there. What's so fascinating to me is this little phrase, Jesus saying, listen, you know that this had to happen to the Messiah, right? And then using the Old Testament scriptures to describe and explain what had happened. This is Jesus's way of reminding us that God wasn't surprised at the arrest and crucifixion of Jesus, right? None of that surprised God. The resurrection wasn't God's plan B. Oh no, what happened to my son? I better come up with another plan, right? I mean, this was God's plan all along. Jesus says, no, this had to happen to the Messiah. And then he goes back and he pulls in the books of Moses and all the prophets and shows these two disciples that, yeah, this was all part of God's plan all along. Friends, may you and I be encouraged by the fact that the life and ministry and death and crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus was all part of God's plan. And may you and I be encouraged that the things that happen in our lives that feel like they are out of control, this is all within the ultimate plan of God, moving us towards him and towards an eternity with him forever. Friends, be encouraged by that today, and we'll see you tomorrow.